Still got screwed out of that last episode.
You did.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you don't need to be sorry. Adam needs to be sorry.
I'm always sorry. Hello and welcome to the Orig, a show by...
Are you okay?
Yes.
I think it has something to do with his face. I'm so sorry looking.
A show by Damage Control Podcasting. A professionally unprofessional look at the conventions, ideas, and genres of filmmaking. I'm here with...
Cody Dietrich.
Daniel Newkirk.
Tyler Tipton.
I was going to say Daniel Newkirk.
There, you got my name right.
What did I do last time?
Newkirk.
Yeah.
Newkirk.
We have a...
That's your scientific alter ego.
We have a mini podcast which was supposed to be like the introduction to the Damage Control podcast universe before we even had a name. And he's like, yeah, and join me, Adam Tipton, and Daniel Newkirk. And and every time I listen to it, I'm like, oh, we couldn't even bother to re-record it with my real name.
That was supposed to be your scientific alter ego.
Right?
What's a quirk again?
And it's like a small particle or something like that.
It's like a weird...
Man.
It's like a weird tick. Sometimes people get like a quirk.
Oh, okay. Or like quirks from My Hero Academia.
You know,
like powers?
one quirk that Adam has is when he reads a final question on a game show, and then he pauses to let the person give them the correct answer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This episode, I want to discuss original ideas or scrapped concepts for movies.
Wow, I didn't realize you literally read that page like verbatim.
Yeah.
I've never sat here where I could actually see the script, and
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were just reading right off a piece of paper.
Yeah, I did that one time, and he was so astounded that it blew his mind. When I did my first previously on, like, he got really mad at me for it, so I stopped doing it.
What? Stop doing what? Reading off my thing?
No, I wrote my own read-off thing, and he got real mad at me.
I didn't get mad at you. Not
Necessarily casting.
Not necessarily
casting.
You might have to go to that side of the table.
Not necessarily casting choices of films or draft ones, but more of what could have been. Okay.
Okay.
I'm talking like ideas that like made it past like two writers sitting at a table and go, wouldn't it be cool if the aliens were fucking the predators? You know, like actual like.
Please tell me that wasn't part of it.
Maybe.
I mean, that happened.
Okay, so what you're saying is ideas that had
Predator
enough
from an alien.
steam behind them, they could have been in the movie.
Some of them have been greenlit. Some of them have even started filming. Some of them have concept drawings. I mean, I'm not talking like, yeah, we discussed that idea, but it wouldn't work.
All right,
Like Back to the Future refrigerator time machine?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Or how Ryan Reynolds wanted the second Deadpool movie be about Deadpool trying to steal the chair from the voice.
Okay, let's go with that one real quick. Let's talk about explain what happened.
It didn't get off the ground because it was either a joke or nobody wanted to let him do an entire movie of him trying to steal a chair from the voice.
Well, what was the point of stealing the chair?
Just so he could do a dramatic reveal of spinning around. That is literally a lot of Deadpool's shenanigans sometimes. It's just so he can do little gags like that.
Okay. You guys have any ideas? Any ones you prefer or like?
The Nick Cage Superman.
Okay, go.
Nick Cage was going to be Superman. They did test footage, but people didn't respond well to it.
Is that the one where he was supposed to be fighting Kevin Smith's giant spider?
Giant spider. Did I tell you a story about the giant spider?
I
Maybe.
think
Yeah, I think the original villain was supposed to be Brainiac, and that's how they were trying to. Because who was it? The producer demanded there be a giant spider fight, which turned into Wild West.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. Fine.
I thought that was Kevin Smith's idea because I thought
No, Kevin Smith wrote, but it wasn't his idea. Because the producer didn't want Superman to fly. He didn't want Superman to wear a cape. And
so. The producer
how do you
wanted to
become
make
a producer? Do you
wanted
just
to
have
make
a lot
this
of
giant
money?
spider.
actually,
movie.
yes, this one did have a bunch of
Like,
money.
is that the whole thing? Like, you've seen Supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the episode where like they're on a movie set and you've
Yes.
got a producer and it's just like, yeah, you could do it that way, but let's do it like this instead. Like completely like ruins everything.
Yeah, isn't that literally the producer from Supernatural, like McGee or whatever his name is? That's doing that, and doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like he's just like sitting behind a giant pile of money, counting and then talking to him. Yeah,
Did you like his Terminator? He did Salvation.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, up until the trailer reveals everything that's going to happen.
Yeah, the
Is
trailer.
that-
Those very bad, poorly edited trailers.
Salvation, was that the one where John Connor becomes a robot?
That's the one where Christian Bale yells at everybody.
Oh, okay.
Good for you. That was good. Have I ever done my Sean Connery?
No.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's keep it a secret.
Yeah, so the only one that comes to my mind is it's one of my favorite Transformers trivia facts.
Okay.
But Optimus Prime dying saved General Duke's life.
Yeah.
Because originally G.I. Joe was supposed to come out before Transformers, and General Duke was supposed to die, and then Optimus Prime died, so they could bring out a whole new toy line with whole new leadership and all that. And there was like a production delay, and G.I. Joe was supposed to come out shortly thereafter, Transformers instead. And then when Optimus Prime died, there was such a huge backlash from his death that they rewrote the script so that General Duke survives.
But do you remember how they did it though?
Yeah, they just he dies, and then they're like, "Oh, he's fine. Look at this."
Yeah, there's like an offhanded comment where like Lady J or someone's like, he's all right.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly how
I
they
mean,
did.
it's basically man.
Because they didn't have time to actually
got-
change the movie.
Yeah.
The bullet went through his head, JFK style. He's all right.
He's all right.
He'll make it through.
Yeah.
He pulled through.
Just squish it back together.
Yeah. So if the G.I. Joe had possibly come out first without the production delay, then Optimus Prime could have survived the Transformers '86 movie.
And then Cup would have been like, you're all right. You know?
Yeah, exactly. The entire movie goes cruxed around his death, and they're
Yeah.
just at the very end, Unicron's fight is like, "Oh, hey, Prime," and
You
everything's
just missed Optimus. He went around the corner.
fine. Yeah.
Going back to Nick Cage's Superman. How fast was his cameo in The Flash, and was it good?
Fast.
I heard that that was entirely CGI'd, his cameo.
Right, but
Yeah,
I
I mean,
didn't know.
it's basically, there's the picture of him in the Superman. I think it was Superman Lives. That was the name of the movie.
Yeah. No, Superman Fly. No, that was different. That was J.J. Abrams. Yes, Superman
It's basically him in that suit, and I think his eyes are glowing red with heat vision. I think that's it. So basically, in the Flash, the penultimate scene. I don't even know if I used that word. I just wanted to say it. It's like they're in this sphere, and all the multiverses are around them, and everything's quick flashes, under 5 seconds.
Was there a reason why it's only Superman? I mean, why isn't the Flash seeing multiple versions of damn near everybody?
I think it's
Or since it's a Flash movie, why is he not seeing multiple versions of himself?
Because for some reason they couldn't find a single reason to cast another Flash.
They
Besides,
did a Jay Garrick Flash, and they did a couple versions of Batman. Well, I mean, it's DC. They hinge everything on Batman and Superman.
That's true.
Well, it could also be that the Arrowverse pretty much did all that. Every known Superman almost they did, and superheroes they did all those, didn't they?
Yeah, and one of the crises, I need to go back and watch all of that because I really want to. But yeah, they
did Brandon Routh.
Mm-hmm.
They gave Brandon Routh was in the Kingdom Come universe.
Yeah, Tom Wellington was in one of them.
Yeah. They had a whole
Who's the
mess.
Smallville guy?
Tom Wellington.
Yeah, but they could have faked a whole bunch of cameo. The Jay Garrick one, it was some random person on the crew. It wasn't even an actor.
So do we think it was just a way to save money then? That they didn't want to do all these different cameos?
Probably. It's
Well,
just DC with a great idea and a poor execution like they always do.
Oh, I mean, like I said, if you're only going to have someone in there for a couple seconds, why pay a big name actor to do it? But yeah, it was bad execution. They had the Christopher Reeves, and I don't know the chick that played the original Supergirl, but yeah, I mean, it was basically different versions of Batman, Superman.
Well, the thing too, they they might have been trying to save themselves from being shot in the foot, because they do anybody associated with any of those characters. You got fanboys, when are we going to see the Tom Holland Flash movie, or so on and so forth. Because I imagine people are still kind of fuming about the Reed Richards cameo, and how, like, okay, so why is that he not Mr. Fantastic going forward? He's good at it.
Yeah, I think that's a real big misstep for them not to.
He's not too good at it. He got spaghettified.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like...
Well, maybe he's the smartest person on that planet, but maybe everyone on that planet's really dumb.
Oh, yeah, good point, yeah.
Yeah, the reason why it's a utopia, nobody was smart enough to really go to war.
But, no, going back to the Flash, they had a good idea, and then they just dropped the ball and just watched it roll down a hill. I mean, there were a ton of things in that movie that could have been done way better.
Yeah, they should have made it like Morbius. All right, here's some of my favorite, like...
It's more been done.
Here's some of my...
Did that actually happen?
I don't know. I've never seen the movie.
I don't remember that line.
I've never seen the movie.
Like, I keep hearing that joke, and part of you like, okay, that's so cringy. Yeah, that didn't happen. But then I keep hearing so much, I haven't seen the movie. If it does happen, it deserves all the hate it gets.
I mean, the movie was just entirely unremarkable. Like, as both a Marvel movie and a vampire movie, it was just so forgettable. Like, nothing important happened. And I saw it pretty sure I saw it in theaters.
The only thing I know about that movie was Matt Smith has like a really cringy, horrible dance sequence.
Yes.
And people were making fun of it so much. And they're like, this guy's going to ruin House of the Dragon. All the Game of Thrones fans were like, this show's going to suck. And then it came out. They're like, Matt Smith's back has to hurt from carrying that show.
Here's some trivia on Morbius. So Batman has Ace the Bat Hound. Superman's got Crypto, the dog. Morbius
has a bloodhound.
Has a cow named Mobius.
You're fucking with me.
Okay.
The Bloodhound joke was way better.
Oh, come on.
Well, the messed up part is there's the canonic DC vampire cow. Sorry, Marvel cow.
Hell cow. Yep.
Hell cow.
Yeah. But I'm not talking about, I was talking about his pet, Mobius.
DC has a bat cow.
Yes.
Which did not get its solo run like I really wanted it to.
Mobius. Oh, I get it now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, the more you say it, the less it's still not sticking.
And
it's very cringy.
Isn't that the secret to comedy is time, pain, and you just repeat it until people just give up and feel sorry for you. They start laughing.
Laugh, please.
Do you know what the most important thing about comedy is?
What?
Timing.
Oh, okay.
I think I did that wrong.
Yes. Okay.
I think it's supposed to go like, you want to know the most important thing about comedy is? Yeah.
Anyway, do you guys like
timing?
Do you guys like Nightmare on Elm Street?
No.
Yeah, it was alright.
Okay.
It was one of the few horror movies I could watch because the comedy made up for the horror.
The Ridge.
The
second series.
I like the part where the clearly fake woman gets like bent at 90 degrees and shoved through the window at the very end.
Okay. Have you seen Freddy's Dead?
Which one's that?
The one where his daughter brings Freddy into the real world and shoves his claws into his belly and then shoves a stick of dynamite into the wound and blows him up in the real world.
No, I don't think so.
Is that the one where Freddy, the idea of Freddy gets...
It's New Nightmare.
That's New Nightmare. So the movie right before that. So that was there was a Peter Jackson wrote a script for Freddy 6. He called it Dream Lover, which it got concept. I don't know if it got greenlit, but he wrote it he was hired by the studio to write it. They paid concept artists to create all this work, and it's called the Dream Lover. Okay, and then they ended up going with Freddy's Dead. But here's the idea. This is I love it. I wish they would have done this. So at this point in the franchise, Freddy's a joke, right?
Because he's just keep losing and coming back.
Right. So the kids are no longer afraid of him. He's defeated. The kids don't give a shit. He has become so much of a joke and so powerless that kids are actually taking sleeping pills and going to sleep on purpose just to beat him up and
just to fuck with him.
Just to fuck with him, yeah. So that's how the story starts, and then during one of these kids fucking with him, he just out of like defense, he kind of like trying to defend himself, and he accidentally kills him, and that like his like surges back into the power. So he's starting to regain his confidence and his power back.
So it's Freddy got his groove back?
Basically.
Cody, you dick. Between you and Dane, I'm not giving you a high five
Give it
for
to
stealing
me.
my idea.
I deserve it.
No.
I thought of it too.
I was trying to use the timing thing that I learned in comedy a couple minutes ago.
So
That was so funny.
you okay?
I was legit mad a little bit. I was like, so we shoved up Freddy's got his groove back.
So
The
you
joke
got-
that I made.
So he's got his groove back, and the kids aren't aware of it fast enough. The kids don't become aware of it fast enough, so he starts killing more and more to when a police officer goes. A police officer who was a child during the 80s.
Who was a child?
Who was a child.
Kindergarten cop.
Anyway, he goes into the dream to try to stop him again, but Freddy holds him hostage. So he's like, in the real world, he's at the hospital in a coma, but in the dreams, he's like slowly being tortured by Freddy, and this is like helping him become his strength back. And then the kids figure out what's going on, so they go back into the dreams to take him out.
Okay.
I like that. I wish they wouldn't have scrapped that idea, though.
That's an interesting idea for sure.
Like, the idea, though, that is like, the idea is the more people know about him, the more people are afraid of him, that's how he gets more powerful. So
Right.
the way to get rid of him was completely just fucking forget about him. So even the act of the kids trying to fuck with him should have gave him power, right?
Well, it has to do with the fear generated. Because, like, I seem to remember in Dream Warriors, he gets beat by the girl just being like, I'm not scared of you.
That's one.
Is it number one
Yes,
that happens?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's hypnotic. If you're legit not scared of the dude, he can't hurt you.
Isn't
Right.
this the superhero dude, the guy that like turns himself into a superhero in the I mean, he eventually gets killed, but
Yeah.
isn't that how he's able to beat him up too? Is because he's
Like, he's using his heroic complex, like, oh, I'm a superhero, I'm more powerful, and so Freddy has to become a supervillain as well.
Well,
The only thing that can beat a superhero is a supervillain.
right, he actually becomes Super Freddy. He gets a bodybuilder plays him, and he has like a lightning bolt through his on his. But no, that he was a comic book artist, and he turned himself into what his character. I think it was like the Night Prowler or whatever.
I remember that part. I remember certain scenes from the I haven't seen every single movie.
So anyway, they used they kind of pilfered this, and they kind of used the idea that you were talking about in Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah.
All right, Aliens. Are we fans of Aliens? The Xenomorph Aliens.
Aliens is great.
Never seen it.
Very much enjoy the first couple movies of that.
Okay, so did you like 3?
Not really.
Fuck.
What is 3 one? What's the 3 one again?
3 is Aliens.
Alien Squared.
Yeah. Isn't it? Well, it would be cubed. Alien Resurrection, I think, is 3. And that's the one where she's on the planet.
That's 4.
Is that 4?
So Alien Cubed is
Aliens.
my wallet was hurting my butt. Alien. That's the
You rub
one.
it?
That's the one. Huh?
You want me to rub it?
No. Oh, my wallet.
Your
Yeah.
butt.
Pick one.
You won't be thinking about that pain, boy.
Alien 3 was the one where they land on the Hicks and Newt die off in between movies, and she lands on that planet that's a prison planet.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's the one where she shaves her head.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You told me that was wrong.
no, that's not. But Alien Resurrection is number 4.
Okay.
Right.
So the
I had the
title-
plot right. I didn't have the title right.
Correct. So
So what's the title for 3?
just Alien Cubed? I guess it's Alien with the 3, like the small 3.
Okay, I thought that one had a subtitle.
I think that was
I think
sort
the
of before subtitle were a thing, really.
I think the subtitle is called "The Bitch Is Back," or that might be the log line. Anyway,
What's the one where she like swan dives into the sun?
that's 3. It's not. It's like a furnace,
Oh,
Terminator style.
Oh yeah, it's just Alien cubed.
Yeah,
Anyway,
because she kind of find out she's been infected while they was on their way back.
with a queen, yeah,
And that's the reason the thing won't kill her.
right. So anyway, the original concept for this, which I really like, so it starts off the same way. She lands on a planet, but it's an all wooden planet, and like seriously,
Like the planet's wooden?
yeah, the whole it's like a man-made planet, like a Death Star, but it's made out of wood.
A planet made out of wood.
And the people are like these weird, like, monastery Amish monks who have, like, shunned technology.
And so it ends up being their downfall because they can't fight the fucking aliens.
Right, but don't you think that'd be kind of cool? Like, take the xenomorph out of space and technology and put it on, like, this weird...
Sort of like what they're doing with the current Predator line on the Hulu movies.
Yeah, kind of like that, kind of.
Like, it makes sense, but it also... Like, are we showing survival alien movies? Because I think without technology, you can't stand a fucking chance against the aliens.
Well,
like, at least a certain amount.
I remember in reading the script, they were using those scythes or whatever they use to cut grass with.
So they cut one thing, the scythe gets acided away.
Yeah.
Like, I like the idea of a alien and like a past civilization sort of thing, but also at the same time, you'd have to make some bullshit reason how people could stand up against them. I feel.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but you can do that with a throwaway line, like.
Oh, come to find out, obsidian isn't acid malleable.
Like what? I think it's thank you for smoking. They're trying to make like them smoking in space, and someone's like, you can't smoke in space. The oxygen that's keeping you alive, that's pumping through there, would explode. And they're like, yeah, but then we just say, thank God we made unexploding oxygen. No, like, it's dumb, but like that's the whole point. Like, you can fix it with
by just saying,
with some bullshit throwaway line.
Anyway,
this was before their blood was acid. There's actually the events in this that allowed them mutation for acid blood.
The Wooden Planet script is what got Sigourney Weaver to sign on, and then the studio. I mean, Alien Cubed is famously, it's like a textbook definition of a studio fucking with a movie.
Yeah, so she actually signed on for a different fucking movie then.
Yeah, oh yeah, yep.
Ooh, okay.
Yep.
Has there been any known instance that you know of where that caused the movie to end because the guy was able to get out of his contract?
Yeah, one just happened recently. Like, it was a notoriously bad movie, and they were doing the rounds.
Oh, Batman v Superman.
I like it. You sound so sincere.
No, but I know you were just joking, but ironically, I think it may have been Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon.
I mean, Rebel Moon, I have heard bad things about, but I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting for it to conclude.
You can't think off the top of your head, but look into it for me.
But one of the actors was doing the PR rounds, and the hate for the movie had made it public, and he was just kind of saying, it's not the movie that I signed on to do. We started filming one movie, and then we ended up making a whole different movie.
I think that's what they said.
Then, non-ironically, I know that interview you're talking about. I read that. Because there was a very similar comment made about Madam Web from one of the actresses.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was Madam Web I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
It was the lady that played Madam Web? She's not famously like she's like a hardcore actress. She don't care about the Marvel system.
Yeah, it wasn't Dakota Johnson, even though she said that like she made jokes about it. Like she said, like, "Oh, did you see me in Madam Web?" No one did.
Yeah,
and like it was the blonde nerdy girl,
Sydney Sweeney.
Maybe Sydney Sweeney. She was the one that has been very vocal about. I signed on for this movie, and it wasn't the movie I thought it was going to be, and that kind of stuff.
Okay. What about Gladiator? What do you guys think about Gladiator?
I wanted them to do... I mean, I would have thought it was dumb watching it then, but I wanted them to do the... So in actual Gladiator times, gladiators were celebrities, and they would do like commercial endorsements,
Sponsorships?
basically. And I guess like they wrote in the script where Maximus was supposed to like plug like an actual like Roman product like in the movie, and I was like, I would have thought it was so dumb like when I first watched it, but I would have thought it was hilarious now, like in a good way.
I definitely would have been entertained.
Like I remember
That's the last line of that's the last line of him flaw. He's like, "You will be entertained."
HBO Max.
Brought to you by Scholars Pots.
What I don't remember what it was, but wasn't like the original idea just like balls to the walls crazy?
Right. Okay. So yeah, exactly. So we're getting a Gladiator 2 this year or next year. This year or next year?
I think it's
Well,
next year.
is it 2 or a prequel?
No, it's
Well,
that. Yeah,
I mean, it could be both.
good point. But it's a Gladiator 2. The original Gladiator 2, written by Nick Cave.
Well, it's this year.
Is
Nick
it-
Cage or Nick Cage?
In November.
Nick Cave. November.
November.
So anyway, here's his script, and this was a serious, like they were seriously moving forward on it. Had Russell Crowe's character fighting ancient and modern gods in the afterlife, being resurrected, cursed to live forever, complete with a montage of him fighting in every single human conflict, ending with him in the Pentagon preparing the 2003 invasion of Iraq.
Wow.
That
That was a serious. That was moving forward.
I mean, I would have watched that.
like that's an interesting thing, but that's a lot of time to cover. Like, I maybe not all in one go. I'd want like a 2-part movie or something.
You know what this kind of sounds like? And you guys can correct me because I only watch the movie clips on YouTube. But in this
we will.
kind of like Gods of War?
Yeah,
God of War?
so originally
Gods of War or God of
In-
War?
Is there a difference?
Like, I don't know what you're talking
Whichever
about.
one Kratos is in.
Yeah, that's God of War.
Oh,
so
God.
in God of War 2, you go up against the Fates, and there's a room where there's different like one of the religions is like the 3 wise men following the star. Their original idea after he defeated all the Greek gods was he was supposed to go and fight and kill all the Egyptian gods, and then he was supposed to go, which they did, they just moved it to Norse mythology. But yeah, that's basically what he did. Was he was fed up with every single god, so he was just going to travel the world just fucking murdering them all.
So then so it's kind of like God of War.
Well, the
Yeah.
original God of War, they did allusions to a future after Kratos, where they find the dead body of Kronos, like with helicopters and whatnot, just out in the middle of the desert, where they discovering what's left of the ancient world, stuff like that. So, and then they did like a drastic change going into God of War, the new one, the Norse one. Now, I think the next step after the Asgard saga is done, they are going to Egypt next, I believe, because they've already established that one character in the God of War series has been to multiple different planes or divinity realms. So he's done like Aztec, Japanese mythology, Shintoism, I believe, and a couple others. So there's plans to move forward. But yeah, I think that was the original plan, was just straight up eventually he was going to kill Jesus.
As you do. I mean,
Would a mainstream game have the balls to do that?
Back then they would have.
God of War, probably. I mean, like one of the very first things you can do in the first God of War game is have an orgy.
No. Okay.
Like,
Yeah, that was back when shock factor was still a big thing. It's
Yeah.
tamed down a little bit, I believe, so it probably wouldn't happen today. But yeah, back then, yeah, I think they would have fucking done shit like that.
Okay. Have you guys seen Happy Feet?
Yeah.
No, it's like the penguin dancing movie, right?
Parts of it, yes.
So
Come to find out, his dad has a happy feet too.
Is that the sequel?
No, that's in the first movie. Comes to find out that he can't sing, but he can dance. But his dad can dance too.
do you know who the character of Mumbles is?
It's Elijah Wood.
Okay, so in the original script for this was maybe not written. I think co-written and directed by the guy that did the original Mad Max. Well, I guess he's done all the
Mad Max.
Yeah, George Miller. He's done all the Mad Maxes.
He was a co-writer on Happy Feet.
Yeah, he also did Babe 2.
Really?
Yeah.
James Gunn did Scooby Doo.
It's the going from heavy metal apocalyptic wasteland to animated children's movie.
The guy that did God of War, the game he made before that, was Mickey's Musical Adventure. Or a Mickey Mouse game.
The original script for Happy Feet was not child friendly, and there was no music in the finished product.
Was it the foot version of Idle Hands?
I don't know, but
I mean, I've seen that. It's pretty good.
Idle Hands or the foot version?
Idle Feet.
I can't tell if you're serious or not.
what is with your all's? How old are you?
Why do you want to know? Are you a cop?
Are we the same generation?
Are you a cop?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, we're pretty close. I'm 38.
Okay, yeah. What is
I'm the
with
youngest one
with
here.
yours all generation's obsession with feet? Why is that a new sexual obsession?
Their obsession.
Go watch Quiet on Set, the Nickelodeon documentary. That'll tell you why.
That's where it comes from?
No.
It's just their obsession is hating on foot fetish.
That's why I don't like Quentin Tarantino.
Because he has a foot fetish?
Yeah.
He has a
he's
well documented
famous for
foot fetish. That's why he always has a foot scene in all his movies.
No, I just don't like feet. I think feet are gross.
I don't remember a feet scene, and
Watch him back.
all right, I'll watch it back.
All right.
I like Quentin Tarantino movies.
Mumble's first on-camera line was, "First rule of survival, get yourself laid before winter."
That sounds like an adult comedy.
So, but
Sounds like the farce of the penguin.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Is that what that script turned into? Was Farce of the Penguins?
okay, you guys like Holes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Small, tight.
The movie Holes? I should.
What?
I need to start learning.
Large.
Shia LaBeouf
I need to start learning
Front,
words. and
back,
power.
up, down,
Shia LaBeouf. Yes.
all kinds.
with one of the most notable ones of drastic change from the source material just to get a pretty actor into the lead role.
Well, there's a pretty drastic change from the very first script that they were going to film too.
Oh, okay.
So this was written by Richard Kelly, the guy that did Donnie Darko, The Box, Southland Tales. The movie is post-nuclear apocalypse. Stanley is in jail for mercy killing his sister, not stealing shoes. His sister gets radiation poisoning, so that he mercy kills his sister.
No. What the fuck is this?
I love how when people take like a story like this and they just completely morph it into some crazy.
The only thing they kept
acid
was the
trip.
fucking name.
Well, I'll tell you what Richard Kelly has said on the script here at the end. Podansky, the character Podansky, does that sound right?
Yes.
Sneaks the boys out to take them to a truck stop bar and buys them prostitutes. The end.
As you do.
The end is the revelation that the prison is not making them dig holes for buried treasure, but for old nuclear warheads.
What
Okay.
the fuck?
I mean, I wouldn't have liked it, but
I mean,
I would have gone and seen it.
it would have been a fine movie if they didn't call it Holes and based
Yeah.
on the book. Like, that's a fine movie on itself, but like,
That's-
Yeah, like
you are just literally taking the book and throwing it out.
you took
And
the name and the fact that he dug holes.
yeah, that's someone who didn't want to read the book for their book review is what it is.
Yeah.
So the guy who wrote it, Richard Stanley, he got hired for the
I
job.
thought his name was Richard Kelly.
What did I say?
Richard
Stanley.
Stanley.
Oh, Richard Kelly. Yeah, you're right. He has said like the script's horrible. He's put the entire thing up on his website if you guys want to read it. But he has said like he is fresh out of like film school and he was pretentious and he was just being a dick. He had no respect to the source material. He was just being pretentious and
So he wrote it as a lark.
no, he wrote it to get it made. He was serious.
He was legit trying to get that made.
But like he said, he was young, he was pretentious, and he had no respect for the source material.
I mean, that's pretty obvious in that pitch.
I mean, at least he openly admits it.
Yeah.
Like, still,
Like
God.
I would watch that movie, but like you said, if you named it something other than Holes,
Yeah.
like don't say based on the book Holes, and then have it not related whatsoever.
and it moved forward, but like the guy who wrote it said, luckily cooler heads finally prevailed because he himself.
Well, just the fact that it's a Disney movie.
Well, Disney
like,
movies used to be dark.
Not that fucking dark where a guy's
Song of the
getting
South.
kids hookers.
Well,
Wait a minute. The standout dark part of that script was the boys get laid from hookers,
A little bit, yeah.
and not the mercy killing of
Well-
the radiation sick sister.
Dude, do you not remember that scene in Cinderella?
Well,
Is that why Gus glowed green in that one scene?
Yeah.
Well, and in my defense, there's been a mercy killing in a Disney movie before, hence Old Yeller.
No, we don't talk about Old Yeller.
Just saying it happened.
You don't kill dogs.
What?
It's a dog, though.
You don't kill dogs.
Oh, I see how it is.
Was it a Disney movie where I think it was Ed Harris? Is Ed Harris? There was those kids that went to the big city and they hired that prostitute just to be like, "Show me your boobies," but the one kid covered his eyes, but the others. You okay?
I'm fine.
But
What movie is that?
But anyway, so they bring the hooker to meet the dad at Harris, and he ends up falling in love, and then he finds out that it's a hooker. But she's like, "Oh, but I actually fell in love with you." You know what I'm talking about, Daniel?
What
No, I
movie
don't.
is that?
But I am adding Disney movies with prostitutes to my Google search history.
Okay.
And there's the police.
We've watched it.
Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman is done by Disney.
That
It's a Disney Touchstone movie.
the original version of that script was dark too.
Yeah.
Yeah. See if you can find it. I'm going to bring up
Ed Harris.
Ed Harris. He had a kid who went to the city with two other friends, and they paid this prostitute not because the prostitute's like, "I'm not going to sleep with you," and you're like, "Well, no, we just want to see your boobs."
As you do.
And then the little
Everyone
kid
likes boobs.
and the little kid who didn't work, that didn't look, ended up bringing her home. And Ed Harris walked in. She's in the bathtub, and Ed Harris like, "What the fuck are you doing in my house?"
I don't know.
Oh, apparently Pinocchio has a child prostitution ring.
Whenever
What's his face is
Stromboli,
that where they get him drunk and shit?
Yeah, probably that's what they're referring to there.
whenever I see Ed Harris or hear Ed Harris, I just think of The Rock.
Dwayne Johnson? What's he got to do with Ed Harris?
I hate you.
Okay.
So Pretty Woman was done by Touchstone Disney.
Okay, so Touchstone.
Disney.
Touchstone. is
And
what?
Disney.
Quit saying Touchstone. It sounds gross.
It's both of them, not just Touchstone.
So it's Disney on the title card.
They are the production company.
Okay. Well, there's a difference between production company funding and then I think as the main name is what I'm getting at. 'Cause
But, I mean,
that's what Disney does with a lot of their movies.
they-
Ed
came first.
Harris was the voice in Field of Dreams.
Was he?
Yeah, did you know that? Then it says unconfirmed. I was like, well, which one is it?
All right. Here's some more from these come from omnifusion.com and whatculture.com. Rejected scripts.
Yeah.
Okay.
When was this movie made, Adam?
Early 90s.
What are we looking at?
I'm trying to figure out the Disney Ed Harris prostitute movie.
Okay, Tyler, this one's for you.
Ghostbusters 3?
I'm not being facetious here. Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't
With
that
the
have...
babysitter.
Huh?
You don't fuck with the babysitter.
Right, but didn't that have...
That had boobies in it.
like a prostitution scene where like someone like one of the prostitutes like propositioned one of the kids while they were adventuring through the city. Am I thinking of the wrong movie?
No, you're right.
Milk Money.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's what it is.
A group of young boys befriend a prostitute named V.
Who played the prostitute?
Melanie Griffith.
Yeah, was that Disney?
I don't know. I'm trying to look up pictures. No. I don't know.
All right. Tyler's for you.
Ghostbusters 3.
No, not yet.
Okay.
There was going to be a Rocketeer sequel. There's always
Really?
there was always talks of Rocketeer sequel, but this
I
one
love the Rocketeer. I don't
this
care what anyone
one-
says.
This one started production. Okay? The idea to take Rocketeer's pulpy sensibilities and apply them to the 60s, effectively enabling the film to mirror the actual evolution of the superheroes from the golden age of comics to the silver age. see, this Rocketeer sequel would have also poked fun at the 60s spy capers with multiple elite agents turning up to lecture the new lead before dying, all sorts of horrible deaths. Also, Alison Brie was supposed to be the Rocketeer. She was the granddaughter of Cliff's Accord.
Doesn't sound bad. I mean, you read it kind of fast. So what they were making, it's set in the 60s.
Right.
Alison Brie was supposed to be okay. I mean, that's fine. I'm all for changing it. I mean, because you're not changing. Cliff Secord still exists. You're not getting rid of him and making it a female character for no reason. That's fine. They did that in the Rocket. There's a Rocketeer kids show. They did that. I don't know. It doesn't sound too bad. I thought they were still making a sequel to where now the Rocketeer is one of the Tuskegee Airmen, but I don't know if that's ever off the ground. I mean, it doesn't sound bad. I mean, did you say they were making fun of?
Poking fun at the 60s spy capers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would have watched it. Like I said, I like the Rocketeer. It would have been cool to see it in a different type of era.
Okay. All right. What about the Planet of the Apes movies? We guys like the Planet of the Apes movies?
I haven't
Never seen a single one.
Me neither. Not one.
I saw the Mark Wahlberg one.
Oh, I take that back. I did see one of the remakes, not this most recent Connected Universe. One of the very first remake that was in 2000.
Mark Wahlberg
2 or something like that. I don't remember.
I don't
Probably.
think is it the Mark Wahlberg one or
Mark Wahlberg.
Harry Osborn?
That's the recent.
I can't believe they're still making those movies based on the James Franco.
Yes, James Franco. Are you
the
talking?
James Franco universe?
But
What other one was it?
Well,
2002. I don't remember Mark Wahlberg, but
was there ape
Abraham Lincoln.
at the end, where an ape turned into Abraham Lincoln?
Or was
so.
That would have been the Tim
That-
Burton, Mark Wahlberg.
So after that movie, but before the James Franco movie, which he just acted in, he's not really writing or anything.
I know.
But this movie was going to move forward. This was going to be the new franchise. Planet of the Apes versus the Nazis.
Is that legit the title?
I don't know if it's the title, but
How are they going to bring? Were they ape Nazis?
So the writer was some guy named Kunka. Set during World War II.
I'm listening.
Set during World War II and would have seen American soldiers team up with the apes to fight the Nazis. Kunka goes on to say that the film would have been set in Africa with the Americans and the Nazis vying for control of an important mineral. The twist would be that the mineral in question, sought out by the Allies for use in the construction of the first atomic bomb, and was also what made the apes hyper-intelligent.
Okay,
So-
that doesn't sound as stupid as... I mean,
that
if you would have
title-
called it apes versus Nazis, I mean, it's still out there, but
Yeah, but
it's
it might have been
interesting.
ahead. It kind of was ahead of its time, because if you look at the crap that's made now, like Sharktopus versus Terra
Was that
Piranha. Or
was that what was that early 2000s?
It was after Tim Burton.
But was it still early to? Because wasn't that when there was a sudden resurgence of not Nazi movies, but Iron Sky, where
might have been
the
I think it
Nazis
was,
landed on the dark side of the moon and they lived there for 60 years. Now they've come back. There was this weird resurgence of making Nazis the main movie villain again.
Well, they stopped for a little bit, didn't they?
They were always the villain, Adam. I don't care what you say.
the one that stood out to me was a really interesting mockumentary, and it was presented in such a way that you were watching television from an alternate dimension. You were flipping through television and your TV antenna accidentally picked up this channel from an alternate reality where the Confederate States won the Civil War. And they showed through the evolution of modernized commercials and stuff if the Confederate States had won and all of that. And I remember one of the things that you flip through is a historical document, documentary about World War II, and in this alternate universe, the Confederate States sides with the Axis, and it's like all spun to be like the positive, like a positive spin on the Axis, and how the Allies, which they had a different name for, were evil and oppressive and trying to take your freedom away from you and stuff like that.
And this is a legit movie?
Yeah, it was really good. It was really interesting.
Like recent?
No, it wasn't recent. I watched it 10 or 15 years ago.
Okay, gotcha.
Well, whenever I was in college last time, so about 10 years, give or take. I saw it on Netflix, and I don't remember the name of it. I'll Google it when I get done with this current Google search I'm on.
Got you.
What is it you're looking for again? I forgot.
Disney movies with prostitutes. And I think there are prostitutes in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 So it makes a basis for that, in addition to the mercy killing of Old Yeller.
Okay. All right.
Stop talking about Old Yeller. That movie's sad.
You guys like?
Did they ever say that they're prostitutes?
Yeah,
I don't remember the movie well enough to tell you.
They're on Tortuga, yeah. And Johnny Depp's go around them. So what do you think they are?
Well, the thing
Never
is,
heard.
they can be appeared to look like prostitutes, but as long as they never say it, they don't technically violate anything.
Well, I mean,
It
implication.
is like, if they obviously are, they obviously are. But Disney has a way of making things appear as, oh, she's just a very friendly girl.
She's just a very friendly girl.
Yes, that is. Yes, I think that's it. And there's a hooker in Cars,
A tow truck?
a tow truck,
Yeah,
and
they
in
say
Toy
it.
Story, the
There's a-
legs with a giant hook on it in the first movie.
Oh yeah.
Fair.
All right.
That and in
But
Cars
that
they have convertible waitresses, topless waitresses.
Ooh.
The only thing I will say about the hooker and Pixar, that was before the merger.
Wait, is Mater the
Oh, fair enough.
hooker then?
Yeah, he's a tow truck. He just told the joke.
Well, I didn't know if he was actual.
He
Anyway,
might be.
I mean, I can ask him for you.
video game movies. You guys like video game movies?
Yes.
No,
Is
hate
there,
him.
is there ever been a really good one?
Yes, there have been several really good ones.
Like what?
Super Mario Brothers.
Sonic,
Oh yeah.
and Sonic 2 both were fantastic as
Nah,
video game
you
movies.
can only pick one from each franchise.
Okay, Sonic then. Well, actually, I think I like Sonic 2 a little bit better than I like the first one. The World of Warcraft movie was really good.
Okay.
I really
see it.
enjoyed that one.
It was good. It got the wrong publicity.
What about,
Yeah, I got a lot of really bad publicity,
what
but it
about
was good.
D&D? Was that a good one?
The Honor Amongst
newest
Thieves is, yes.
newest one.
Dungeons and Dragons Honor Amongst Thieves is really good. And Wrath of the Dragon God was really good in the original, is the second in that series.
Didn't you like the new Mortal Kombat
Well,
movie?
you're all
Oh, the new Mortal Kombat movie was really good.
you guys are all
Fallout
wrong.
TV show is pretty good in my
No.
opinion.
Which one?
Fallout TV show.
I haven't
is pretty
seen it
good.
yet, but I've heard good things.
Okay.
Twisted Metal TV show was fantastic.
haven't seen it.
No, you guys are all wrong. If this movie got made, which it almost
He-Man.
did, it's not a video game.
He-Man was made into a video game multiple times, therefore it is a video game movie.
Is there a He-Man video game?
There's
gotta be.
there's a 2000X series video game for
But
Game Boy
only-
Advance.
But it's only in Britain, isn't it?
No, because I had it.
Oh. You guys are all wrong. If this movie got made, which it almost did, this would be the best video game movie ever made.
We're about to hit you.
Oregon Trail, the movie.
Ooh.
Okay, you saved it by saying Oregon Trail. Is this a comedy?
Ian Shore's pitch for a failed Oregon Trail film
So they failed on the Oregon Trail?
would have seen a city slicker stuck in the worst version of Groundhog Day ever. As the character tried to complete the Oregon Trail, he would die repeatedly in various circumstances. Kind of like the Live, Die, Repeat.
I would watch the fuck out of that. That sounds so fun.
If they're gonna make this a comedy, then there had to be like a conflict with a guy whose name was Terry. He's like, "You died of dysentery."
Like you're like
Nice.
he's like a mile outside.
Why is that
And-
funny, but Mobius wasn't?
Because one's a good joke, and one of them was Mobius.
You know why I told a good joke? Timing.
Anyway, I interrupt you, Cody. Go ahead.
Like, or get like, I'm almost there, I'm almost done, and then random Indian tech, or his wagon breaks and he can't go any further because he's out of supplies. And even though he's like literally a foot from town, it's still end the game for him.
Did you guys like Batman v Superman?
No.
Okay.
Loved it.
What about this?
Arthur!
What about
Why'd you say that name?
What about this? This was a sincere movie they were going to make with Adam West in the '60s. Batman v Godzilla.
That I would watch. Anything with Adam West as Batman is solid gold, and I don't care who says otherwise.
And that's right on par for the era. Like, everything was versing everything back then. That's how we have the origins of Godzilla versus Kong. Because there was Godzilla versus Kong back then.
So a mad scientist is controlling Godzilla, but complications arise when Batman can't simply stop the monster with Godzilla repellent spray.
Is that the legit title?
That was a sales pitch. I don't know. I couldn't find anything on the actual script, but that was the sales pitch.
Oh.
Why didn't they just
so why
use the
didn't it go through?
dehydrator like they did in the
Did
other
they
movie?
say, like, obviously, wackadoo idea, but why didn't it go through? I'm almost betting the owners of Godzilla backed out, like, no, we're not having Batman fight Godzilla.
I don't know, because Batman the TV show burned super red hot, like surface of the sun hot for one season, and then it literally people were like, all right, we're done with this. And so they did 2 seasons, but the second season was like you can literally watch the viewership go like this every episode.
Okay.
So maybe during the red hotness of the first season, they
were in talks, and they're like, no, we changed our mind.
Yeah.
Dude.
So would that have been in addition to the 86 or the 66 movie that we got?
Well,
or would that have been instead of or a sequel to?
So it says here it was being developed with 62 during. Yeah, so it would have been developed as of 62. So maybe.
That would have been interesting.
So it was in talks before the 66?
I don't even remember when the Adam West Batman came out. I just seem to remember it being in 66. So, but maybe it was.
I always just called it Batman 66, so I assumed it came out in 66.
That's fair.
No, he was 66 years old. Now, we're coming to the pentultimate.
Second to
Ghostbusters
last.
3.
Actually, we're coming to the last one.
Ghostbusters
So you
3.
lied.
It's Ghostbusters 3. Hellbent.
Mm-hmm.
So before the official sequel Ghostbusters Afterlife and
Yeah, 66.
the all-female reboot, Ghostbusters 3 was in development hell, going over a plethora of ideas that ended up not working with the cast. One of these ideas was literally set in hell, as the Ghostbusters would walk into another dimension known as Manhattan, where everyone is evil and ruled by Lou Sifler, a.k.a. the Devil, with a Donald Trump-esque personality. The Ghostbusters would form a corporation and start training new recruits.
That would have been bad.
And
That sounds
then the
terrible.
only reason why it didn't get made was because of Bill Murray.
Yeah, because when they made the first Ghostbusters, they came to some agreement where all of the original cast had to say, yes, this is what we're going to do. And Bill Murray was always the holdout. And I think for this movie, you can find almost the entire detailed plot online, and they have Ecto 19, there's a huge crazy amount of details and everything, and they're just no. He was no, I'm not gonna do it.
Because Dan Aykroyd's super passionate about the Ghostbusters, right?
Yeah, because that was his. Because originally the concept was they were ghost smashers, and it was Dan Aykroyd, and I think
Belushi.
Yeah, Belushi, and they traveled through time catching ghosts. Why they traveled through time, I don't know.
Which is weird because the Filmation Ghostbusters travel through time.
So they traveled through time catching
Really?
ghosts.
Yeah.
And then it changed. But yeah, he is all up. The Ghostbusters is his super passionate project.
So you don't think that'd be a good idea? Isn't that what the video game became?
The video game, no, that's another Gozer thing. You find out that Ivo Shandor has an island.
Who's Ivo Shandor?
He's the architect that built the
Spook Central.
Yeah, Spook Central.
Dana Barrett's apartment building.
That's called Spook Central?
Well, that's what Bill Murray calls it.
Oh.
Yeah, he's like, your girlfriend lives like dead center, Spook Central. You're
right. That is a Dan Aykroyd line.
He's played by J.K. Simmons for like 30 seconds in Afterlife, and then Olivia Wilde like rips him in half. In the game, he's played by Bill Murray's brother, and you find out like he's working on the second coming of Gozer.
And Gozer is who?
The villain from the first movie.
Right. I know. I mean,
Well,
I physically, but what or who?
No, that was Zool.
Oh.
Yeah, Zool was the villain in the first one. Gozer was one of the dogs.
No, you got it backwards.
Do I?
Zool and Vinz Clortho are the terror dogs. Gozer is the god.
Then who's
you're
who's
right.
the
You're
key-
right. You're
Who's the
right.
keymaster?
Vinz Clortho.
This is way too
Rick
confusing.
Moranis' character.
Yeah.
Which I wish would have been in the newest Ghostbuster. But I
Or
understand.
Paul Rudd's character in Afterlife.
So I could not find anything to back it up. So I don't know if it was just crap on the internet, but someone had said that the Ghostbusters were going to go out in outer space in the first script.
That wouldn't have surprised me. I know that they were supposed to travel through time in the first one, and then I thought the reason they go to the hell dimension and Hellbend was to try and like appease Bill Murray. I thought like basically he was going to be in the first part of the movie and then he was going to die, and then the Ghostbusters travel to that dimension to try and save him. As for why he would be in the hell,
I was going to say, what did he do to go to hell?
It wasn't. It was the way I understand it was. It's a hell. It's like a nether realm. Like is it?
They're going to have to fight Scorpion?
Yeah. Like that's just where you go when you die. Like it's not like it's
Good or bad.
yeah. Like
It's like all
if-
Half-Life's the same. It's just what you did affects what it feels like to you.
Yeah, like that's just where you go. Like that version is hell because the person that's taken over that has made it that way, type of thing. Like it's not like he's in hell. Like it's an afterlife that has been modeled by whoever's taking control.
Okay.
But that's how I understand it. As if that's how it's supposed to be. I have no idea.
Like Bill Murray classically hates sequels, doesn't he? Like is that a thing?
I don't know if I've ever heard him say anything about that.
I
He's
think
not
it's-
in a ton of them. But
I think he's just very
Weird.
picky about the things that he wants to do. Like he's not like I choose substance. Like he's just like I don't feel like doing it. Like from what I've heard.
I want to... Oh.
Garfield, Tale of Two Kitties.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying he doesn't choose substance. Like he just picks and chooses what he wants to do. Like there's no rhyme or
I want to
reason.
work with a 17-year-old Scarlett Johansson.
Like
in Lost in Translation.
He just picks
Or no,
random
that was
things.
Natalie. Was that Natalie Portman?
That was Scarlett
Okay,
Johansson.
was that Scarlett Johansson?
Like
That was my favorite line of his from Zombieland, though. Was like, any regrets? I don't know. Maybe Garfield?
Like he from what I don't know if this is true, like he doesn't have like an agent, like he doesn't have his number to where people can contact
He has a
him.
1-800 number that you
Yeah.
can call, and you can pitch an idea, and supposedly he answers it. But it's a legit number. People have actually called it.
Yeah,
Whether
like-
it's actually his or not, I don't know.
Like he's just kind of out there, and he's just like, I'm gonna make the things that
Like,
I want
he's
to
made
make.
his money. Like, I know he's pretty recluse-like sometimes. Like, he doesn't like people most of the time. Like, he's pretty
As you
recluse
do.
for what I know. And he's made his bones already. He could just do whatever the fuck he wants for the rest of the time and just fuck off if he wanted to. Like, did you also get the impression from the new Ghostbusters, like, there were several
don't
times...
spoil it.
I'm not
for
spoiling
Daniel.
anything. Just, like... now I don't know if it's a spoiler.
Just go for it. It's fine.
Because obviously he's in it. but the few times he's in it seems like there's multiple times where they might have added him back in. Does that make sense?
Well, what I know about the newest Ghostbusters, and I don't know how true it is, but the way that he made it sound like it was pitched as a completely different movie. As to what the original movie was, I don't know. Or maybe that was Afterlife. One of the Ghostbuster movies that he was in, maybe it was the all-female one. I was sold on this idea. That's why I said, yes, let's go through with it. And then it was completely and totally changed.
And they may have done that on purpose to get it greenlit.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to get his approval...
Because it's probably in the contract. Once he says yes, he can't revoke it. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's legitimately the female one, because Afterlife was fantastic and a commercial success. Mm-hmm. And I've been hearing nothing but good things about Frozen Empire. So I'd be very surprised I'd be very surprised if he regrets either of those.
It more than likely was because from what I heard, like even Chris Hemsworth character in the 2016, I think they say it's Ghostbusters Answer the Call. I think that's what they've named it. But like it was just a movie that it sounds like it was just thrown together, or like they took an idea. For all I know, it was written as for the original cast, and then they just completely changed it into something else.
Yeah, the Answer the Call had a lot of flaws to it. Like, it didn't really respect the ideas or the rules that are established in the first two Ghostbuster movies. Mm-hmm. And then, like, you have Chris Hemsworth, whose character would have been fine if they didn't make him into an important character. Mm-hmm. Like, the fact that they had to turn him into an important character really, really lost a lot of clout for me.
The one scene I hate the most about it is... Yeah, ironically, has to involve Bill Murray's character. How the one girl, just to prove this one fucking douchebag right, that being such a dick to her, unleashes a fucking ghost and gets the guy killed. Like, that scene, above all else, was what I disliked about the movie. Just that, like, why do you care if this guy believes you or not? The original wouldn't just fucking let a ghost go.
Well, like if I swore up and down that ghosts were real and I had evidence and I had some cocky dude telling me that they weren't, I probably would have released the ghost, been like, yeah, here's your evidence right here. But the problem with the movie was the villain was so forgettable. They changed who the villain was halfway through the movie and turned it into Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, just the idea of like, oh, this world is crazy and disgusting. I hate everybody. That's why I'm going to destroy it. Like, you could just fucking went somewhere else.
But I think...
Like, just I hate all society. Fine, go live in the woods. Don't have to spend a lifetime trying to destroy the world by becoming a ghost monster.
I hate giving Adam any credit, but I'm fairly certain Adam said it, where he's like, the reason... They made everyone the same character in that movie. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone was the comic relief. Like, Egon was funny in the original movie because he wasn't trying to be funny. When he's like, remember this time that you tried to drill a hole through your head? Yeah, I would have done it if you wouldn't have stopped me. Like, that's clearly a funny line.
It would have worked.
If you wouldn't have stopped me.
Of course it would have worked.
Yeah. Or like, you didn't have any toys growing up? We had a Slinky, but I straightened it. Like, stuff like that. Like, he's funny because he's not trying to be funny.
And Bill Murray is a complete sociopath. He's just like, I'm bored. What else am I going to fucking do?
That's the only problem that I have with Ghostbusters Afterlife, is where she's on the phone with Dan Aykroyd's character, and he's like, Egon was going crazy and said all this stuff was going to happen, and I didn't believe him. And it's like, your race stance. You believe anything.
Yeah, you were like a little child. Like, you were like...
If Egon's like, this is going to happen, you would have been like, let's do it. Like, I mean, I get it. You had to have some kind of falling out, and they did it the best way they saw possible, but I'm like, you did it with the wrong person.
Yeah, I definitely think that they should have kind of cleaned that up a little bit. That it didn't make sense. And that is one thing I will say about that's Afterlife, right? That happens,
Yes.
and that's the one bad thing I'll say about Afterlife is that you're right. Stance would not do that, especially not the Egon, because those two were best buds. It would make more sense that like Ray believed him that was going to happen, and then the methodology was different. Egon's methodology of fixing the problem would be too extreme because he would have picked a more extreme method, and Stance was always kind of like the moral fiber.
Yeah, if they could have done something that way, but I mean that's the only critique I really have of Afterlife. We got on a Ghostbusters rant.
Last one real quick. I forgot about this one. Last one. Hancock. Did you like Hancock?
I enjoyed that movie.
He who comes, or he comes at night.
Tonight he comes.
Yeah.
So supposedly
first of all, that movie was weird enough with what came out of it.
So the script that movie is based on, Tonight He Comes. It's on the internet, the full 126 pages. You can read it. It is fucking disturbing and weird. But for some reason, people like Michael Mann were going to direct it. Tony Scott was going to direct it. It had the character Hancock. He had a different name in that, but he was like a horrible, like worse than what Will Smith's character was.
Oh, they're gonna say worse than Will Smith.
Well,
like you slap one dude, automatically you become a bad guy.
Well, besides that, besides slapping Chris Rock, at least his outward publicly image, besides slapping Chris Rock and having some sort of weird relationship with whatever him and Jada Pinkett Smith is at the moment, he seems like a pretty cool dude.
I've never met him.
That's not what I was just saying.
The only thing I've heard about him is that he's very like for X3 for Men in Black 3, he wanted, or Men in Black Cubed, he wanted. There's that younger version of himself. I guess he threw a fit because the director didn't want his son doing it, and Will Smith wanted his son to play the younger version, and the director's like, that doesn't even work. The ages don't match up to what I want it to be. The kid's in it for 3 minutes.
Because
there was a huge fight back and forth.
Because with that timeline, because that rocket, that was the moon landing, right? Mm-hmm. So Will Smith's character in the show is 60 years old?
If that, it's a young kid, maybe 5.
So he'd be maybe 60 to 70 with current timeline if that kid was at the moon.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, so
I might be exaggerating on it, of the time, but Will Smith's character Jay should be a lot older than appears with that kid.
If he's 5, so he was born in 64. So I don't know when that movie came out. I don't know. I can't do math.
I'd say 2015.
2015?
No, it would have been before my divorce. So it would have been, say, 2012.
2012, so 40 years. 40 years would put you at 2004. So he'd be 50. Jay would be in his 50s. But then again, black don't crack, so.
Well, that kid looked at least 10, though, right?
Was it right? Was it 2012?
No, I was looking up something else. Sorry.
Oh, I don't know. It was a young kid.
Anyway, getting back to Hancock.
Man, we're off the rails.
So
we're out of practice.
It was the same similar plot, like a superhero, but he's horrible. He's an alcoholic. He smokes. He teaches the kid to masturbate or something. Who is it? Jason Bateman's son. His character gets beat up, but Jason Bateman is so much of a pussy. He watches his kid get beat up because he doesn't want to. He's afraid of the school bullies. Hancock, like I said, teaches him how to smoke and then tells him about masturbation. And then at the end, the final scene of the movie is Jason Bateman having sex with his wife, but his kid is watching him.
What the I mean, first of all, the movie, that Hancock that got released, that was 2 different movies smashed together. And that sounds even weirder than that.
But what blows my mind is like people like Michael Mann and Tony Scott were like amping up to film this. This was like a hot.
Well, this one was in the source material or what they put on the page.
This was the original script. It's like I said, it's on the internet. Download it for free. It's 126 pages. I didn't want to read 126.
Now
pages.
how? But and I don't know how much. So like, if a director signs on to make a movie, how much creative control do they have over something to where
if you're a Spielberg, you have 100% creative control. If you're a James Gunn making a shit ton of money for MCU and the DC, you probably have a lot of creative control. If you're a hired gun that does TV episodes every now and then, and you've made one sci-fi movie for the Sci-Fi Channel, you've probably got a pretty good stranglehold around your neck on how much creative control you have.
Because I'm saying, like, you're talking about all these people signing up. I mean, are they signing up for it because they're like, all right, this has good bones, and I can change it to this, and this?
Well, yeah, it's different. It's different every situation.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, are people reading it and they're like, oh, okay, I can change it to this? I mean, clearly, I don't know who directed the movie, but like I said, it's like two drastically different movies. Like, you took a superhero movie and then you changed it to like this ancient aliens god type movie, and just were like, yeah, it'll sort itself out.
Well, going back to your point of like how strange the movie was, do you think maybe it was a planned thing where people like, oh, I'm making this so off the wall so I can take some of the stuff back, like a negotiation tactic, where these are like, okay, I'm making this so crazy because I'm not certain they're going to let this little thing that I want in. So I say, okay, fine, I'll take all that bad stuff as long as I keep this one little thing.
So there's a lot of truth. There's a lot of truth in what you say that, because Rob Zombie has come out in interviews when he gives his movie the MPAA, when he knows if he's got this scene, and he's like, I know they're going to cut it, so he'll go and he'll film 3 scenes that he doesn't want in the movie, but it's over the top, like completely ridiculous, over the top, insane. But he knows he'll send it to the MPA knowing that those scenes will be targeted, and he'll be like, okay, well, if I take this, and this out, can I keep this? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. So yeah, there's a lot of truth into what you're saying on that one.
Yeah, that's similar to the Walking Dead story, because was it Kirkman?
Yeah,
Robert Kirkman. When he wanted to make Walking Dead, the Image basically said, no, not. Sorry, we got
aliens.
Yeah,
No, aliens.
yeah. Basically said, no, we don't want a zombie book.
They want aliens.
Yeah, so Kirkman says, well, they're zombies, but check this out. They're not really zombies, they're aliens. And then Image is like, oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And then they were, I want to say they were like 3 or 4 runs deep into that. And then, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sorry, we got a guy honking outside the studio here, and
the studio.
Yeah.
Window.
I guess we've moved on from our mom's basement.
Right. So anyway, they were like 2 or 3 runs into it, and Image is like, so when are they going to find out it's aliens? And Kirkman's like, well, I kind of think I'm not going to make it aliens now. And they're like, oh, well, all right then. It's selling a hell of a lot of books. Let's do it. You know?
Yeah.
And then didn't he finally pay off the joke where when the TV show ended, he tweeted, because everyone was asking what caused the virus, and then he tweeted like alien spores, and then he's like, no, I'm just fucking with you guys.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think in the books nor the TV show do they
no,
figure out what
right,
they do.
right, because they were yeah, even in the TV show they didn't answer, but they were asking him, and it's like just to fuck with people on Twitter, he goes alien spores, and then people went nuts, and then like a day later he's like, I was just fucking with you.
Because isn't that what The Last of Us is? Aren't they like alien spores?
I thought it was a fungus mutation.
Yeah, it's a fungus. It's a fungus, but it comes from alien spores, I believe, that make these alien mind control plants.
Okay.
Very similar to Happening, just less mystical and more.
Did you like that?
I did. I liked Happening.
I
thought it was an interesting.
Is that the M. Night Shyamalan tree movie?
Yep, that's the one. Yeah, where the trees are killing us with pollen.
Yeah, and that
I think
apparently it can target by groups somehow.
Well, yeah, I mean the trees release pollen in a more coordinated effort.
It makes me think
like
of the Green from DC Comics.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Like, I think that movie, I haven't seen it. I've seen clips of it, and clearly I know the twist, but that seems like one of the movies that could have been good, like really good, and people would have liked it, but it seemed like it just kind of like fell.
So yes and no. So I think the movie is good, and I think you going in not knowing what's happening and you don't know what the plot is, and I think it's one of those things that people really wanted it to be a thing, and then he's like, haha, I'm the master of twists, and you didn't see this coming, did you? And I think that was kind of the mentality that a lot of people had, because it was coming off of Sixth Sense, and I think it happened after The Village.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like this letdown where you're like, okay, well, there's going to be some big plot twist, and it was a plot twist that really kind of fell flat. But the movie itself is good. Like, the scenes are scary. It's very suspenseful. I have an appreciation for it that I don't think a lot of people do, because a lot of people just got to the twist and went, well, the entire movie's shit. I'm like, no, the entire movie's not shit. It was a bad twist,
can you believe
but the rest of it was good.
Mark Wahlberg as an intellectual.
Yeah, it was all right.
Well, was the twist that it was trees doing it, or was the twist that it finally stopped?
I don't remember exactly what the twist was, but I think it was them discovering it was the trees, and then they had some sort of sanctuary or something where the trees killed enough people. They're like, okay, well, we can reclaim nature now, or something along those lines. I'd have to rewatch it. I actually would like to.
Let's see. There's a twist in The Sixth Sense, twist in The Village, twist in The Happening.
There's a twist in Unbreakable. It don't come at the end.
Well,
I guess it does.
No, I'm not saying there isn't. I'm listing them. I mean, there's what's the Visit?
Mm-hmm.
There's a twist in that.
You forgot about Signs. I guess there wasn't really a twist.
Signs had a twist. The whole thing was prophesized, and the glasses of water were all like predetermined.
I'm trying to see if there's a twist in every
Lady in the Water.
Was that the one where they got wrong everybody's job? Was that the twist?
Yeah. Well,
the dude that only worked out one side of his body was actually the guardian. Everyone was supposed to have a different job.
Yeah, because he listened to the book guy and like, oh yeah, I'm very smart at this, and like this is all going according to a script that is classic things, and the twist is like, and this is where I somehow make it out alive. Dude gets killed.
Man, he verbally jerked himself off on that one. He made himself like the most important person. There was a twist. I don't think he wrote The Devil, but The Devil had a twist. He
didn't direct it either.
He didn't?
No, he executive produced it.
Oh, okay.
Devil. I like Devil.
That was a good movie.
I like that a lot.
Split had a awesome twist.
Yeah, the Split twist was that it was part of the connected universe.
Yeah,
that was great.
And then
I guess, I don't know, Glass.
Yeah, I don't remember any major twist in Glass. I mean, there was some shocking stuff in it.
Yeah,
I think the twist is you thought, oh God, everybody's dying and nobody's going to see the light of day of this. And the twist was, this was my plan all along, to let the world know there's people with powers out there.
That could be. The twist can also be that the fact that you actually see the Beast and you get the supernatural powers of the Beast in Glass, where you don't see that in Split.
Then the twist in Avatar was that he made a bad movie.
Yes, he did. He made a horrible. It's one of those ones. If it was not connected to a known thing, and he made up that entire universe from the spot, it probably would have been a great movie.
I actually need to see that still.
Yeah, but being attached to Avatar: The Last Airbender, what is already known about it, he alienated so many people by taking every ounce of fucking joy out of it. Every ounce.
It kind of sounds like James Cameron's ripping off Avatar: Last Airbender, because they did water, and the next one's supposed to be fire.
And the first one was air.
Yeah. Apparently, James Cameron has no fucking idea about that at all.
There's no way
he had just no fucking
There's no way
clue about it at all. He's like, what are you talking about? When somebody legit asked him to his face.
I will say this, the James Cameron Avatar, while like visually it is a very beautiful looking movie. I have no interest in watching it again. I have no interest in watching the second one or any other ones.
The first one was pretty boring. The second one, well, I guess I wouldn't say boring, but it wasn't the blockbuster a lot of people made it out to be. And the second one was fine. I do think it's one of those movies that loses a lot in translation when you're not seeing it in the big screen.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate to agree with James Cameron, when Cody and I went and saw Shape of Water, Way of Water, we sat front row, second to front row, something like that, because the theater was packed, and that movie was just breathtaking in the sequences. It legit, you could have cut 100% of the plot out of that movie, and it just been like this kind of surreal slice of life on this alien
documentary.
Yeah, alien world, and the water and the visuals and the culture they created was so profound, especially seeing it on the big screen. I had such a great appreciation for it. It's one of the few movies I will say that it actually lost some of my interest when the action started. Because I really, really enjoyed just the peacefulness of the society and integration, you know?
Yeah, like, visually, top-notch, nothing else compared in the last 10 years to me. Plot-wise, it Dances with Wolves.
Yeah, and then, I mean, that being said, I have no desire to rewatch it. Mm-hmm. Like, if I'm going to rewatch it, I'm going to wait for it to come back out in theaters, and I will go sit front row in IMAX or something to rewatch it for that experience. But, yeah, and I will probably do the same thing with the third one, hoping that we get a giant slice of life section like we did in the Way of Water.
Yeah, because I'd like to actually go someplace where it's more desolate to see what life on that planet is like without all the nature around.
Tatooine.
I'm gonna hit you. But seeing, like, because I agree with Daniel, like the biome diversity things of going from all the jungle shit to the ocean life and all that was my best part of the movie for me. So I'd like to see a mountainous region and a like six-legged goat of some kind.
Mustafar.
A six-legged goat?
Yeah, every animal has more legs. Besides the Na'vi, who only have two for some reason, while everything else on the planet has more legs. Like, everything has at least 6 legs. Except the Tatooine.
That's kind of the way it is. It's kind of the way it is on Earth. I mean, apes, they got arms, but they use them. They don't walk.
Yeah, but I'm talking about majority of every other animal has 2 feet, 2 hands, or instead of hands, legs, or 4 feet. They don't have an extra set of legs coming behind the second one. Besides
Odin's horse and Thor has extra
yeah, that's what I want to say. Like, and that's when we find out
so,
Odin has been here before.
Who's got the foot fetish now, Cody?
Hold on, millipedes, checkmate.
That's well, are they
Googlepedes?
Or are they in the thing?
What? Sorry.
What I'm saying
spiders.
What I am saying...
You're naming too many feet things, Cody's just like having a mind orgasm. A morgasm. What? Okay. I hope to God that is not the sound you make when you orgasm. Ow, ow, ow. I yell Kazam. Mainly
Shakalakaboo!
That's what you say?
No, I go to the classic, and boom goes dynamite.
Oh, okay.
I feel so sorry for your partners.
All right, this has been Damage Control Podcasting.
Podcasting. This has been Damage Control Podcasting. How'd you do that? How did you do that? It wasn't written down anywhere. You didn't read it word for word.
He does the closing every time without paper.
This is the penultimum.
Menemone.
This is the pit. This is the pit in the penultimum episode.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to Damage Control Podcasting.
Let's be honest, they stopped listening about 30 minutes ago.
I stopped listening 20 minutes ago. What are you talking about? You have been listening, hopefully, to the Orig Damage Control Podcasting production. Make sure you check out more of our stuff on YouTube and SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. New episodes most Mondays.
Yeah, okay, so easy, is it?
Cody messing with Daniel's shit caught him off guard.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, but should I not have touched that?
I would appreciate it if you had not.
Now
Okay.
you threw off all the feng shui.
Yeah. Yes, anyway. You've been listening to Damage Control Podcasting. New episodes most Mondays. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud. Thank you. And make sure you check us out on Google?
Oh, it'd be Google.
Yeah, you Googles. Make sure you check us out on Facebook, X,
Google your
Instagram, all of those fun things. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Adam. Push
Timing.
the button.